Hello, hello, hello everyone, and welcome out to the game. This is going to be some very high level 5 versus 5, not ranked since it's not played in matchmaking, it's actually a custom game, but I was able to get into the spectating, so hopefully there's no issue with me streaming scrims. If there is, then these teams can contact me and I will go ahead and take care of it. But we have compLexity.Red on the blue side and over on the red side, or the right, since that might get a little confusing. It's going to be email support, which I believe is a team name. That's what someone on my stream told me. I think I've seen him before, but Azingi is the most notable member here. And they have a Dragon Raider mid, as well as a couple temp names in the bottom lane, and then much to yearn up in top. Well, currently in the mid, going to dance around with Impactful just a little bit, having some fun with each other, because there's not too much that can happen early on with two teams of very high skill. And I just got confirmation from Support Daddy that it is email support, and since he didn't tell me I should stop it, I guess it's fine to cast it. Right now we're looking at a pretty aggressive team composition from compLexity.Red, and I think a big reason for that is because they're able to grab this Kassadin, and they realize that if they can just rack in some kills, then Kassadin will be able to carry them to victory. But I say it's aggressive because of the Gragas jungler, who can really get in and disrupt a team. He doesn't necessarily have a lot of tankiness himself. Oh, Impactful breaks the treaty and lays down a little bit of pain onto much to yearn. It's just going to be who can regen faster, whether it's much to yearn's health or the mana. And actually, I was incorrect. It'll be Riven going mid here with Lulu in the top lane. And so Riven should be able to survive against Kassadin pretty well. However, Riven really relies on our abilities for mobility, so the silence from Golden Glue will be strong. However, he has to be afraid about going up in the melee range for these minions, and that silence is going to keep him safe for now. Looking around at the rest of the map, NK Inc. grabbing out his blue buff first. He didn't start at the red, which is something we typically see from our blue side, since they like to gank top or mid lanes at level 3 once they've taken the second buff. So now with this route, he'll be forced to gank either bot or mid, or to just try and level up. Since Gragas' level 6 is really powerful, he can gank before level 6, but it's definitely a lot stronger once he has that explosive cask and can force someone back and really displace them. In the bottom lane, the temp names are pushing forward pretty hard. 0626 and 3005. Going to be some annoying names to pronounce, but they're actually really zoning out Impactful and Support Daddy here. Caitlyn has 11 CS, and Impactful's only been able to claim a single one. He can't get in for either of those two, and this is actually really rough, finally grabbing a couple under there. And Caitlyn's pushing forward pretty hard, which is something we don't always see, since Lucian's early wave clear with the Piercing Light is really powerful. In the top, we have a Dragon Tamer Lulu against the Dragon and Shyvana, which is a pretty interesting matchup. But the range and the wave clear from Dragon Raider really going to help him push up onto Shyvana, and that's really a strong spot to be in when you keep Shyvana down early. However, if Shyvana farms out, she should be able to scale into a pretty strong tank. And so it'll be hard for Lulu to really break through that early on. Much to yearn, laying down some serious damage to Golden Glue. He has to play back safely, but if we know anything about Kassadin, is that no matter how rough his early laning is, as long as he gets a couple kills, he can really come out strong. Azingi waiting here in the bush, threw down the ward to make sure there was nothing to spot him out, and might look for the dive onto Jezzy. He'll be rather unsuspecting, but there aren't too many minions, and they have to be really afraid of taking many turret shots early on in the game. And so Azingi will back off here, run into NK Inc. NK Inc. is a level up and should be able to duel here onto Azingi. Throws a body slam, but he lands onto the Spiderlings and then misses the barrel roll. So he has to fall back after missing a couple of abilities there. And that'll be Azingi with a nice escape after spending a little bit too much time in the bush, but it shouldn't be a huge problem for such a versatile jungler. Descendants lands on the temp name 0626. Impactful lays down a lot of damage, and they really take Morgana low. Impactful, however, has to be careful from the damage from Caitlyn, and he will be safe for now. It looks like the Piltover Peacemaker not connecting, and Impactful with some very interesting blue squares floating around his body. Second Death Sentence not going to land. But they have really refuted a lot of that early pressure, being able to push back up again, and Impactful grabbing out some nice last hits, which are going to help him get up to that strong mid game. Either rushing a Bloodthirster or a Trinity Force, going to be the most typical pickups. Golden Glue just really looking to play this safe since Cassidy has mostly strong late game, but might go in here as well with the Ignite going down and the barrel roll much to Urine jumps over the wall. NK Inc flashes over along with Golden Glue, and he, with the Force Pulse, will claim the first blood for himself. A really solid pickup there. Nice roam by NK Inc, and despite the mobility and the flash from Riven, they were able to bring themselves up a good amount of gold. Since it was after 4 minutes, that first blood counted for the full 600 as well, which will be really nice for these two champions. One nice pickup with this Cassidy versus Riven lane is that the Force Pulse will charge up incredibly quickly because Riven uses so many abilities. A full rotation involves pretty much 7 abilities if she uses her ultimate, and then every other basic, which will mean a couple charges of the Force Pulse if he uses his own as well. So that's a nice saving grace for Cassidy in the top lane. Dragon Raider gets dove under the turret, and the Ignite is going to take him down. Jezzy able to just barely take that out. NK Inc running around the map, really making opportunities for his team happen wherever he looks. And that's 2 kills immediately for compLexity.Red. Email support having a rough time, even though they did well in their lanes individually. Once the jungler shows up, they're just struggling a bit. Impactful dodging out from that Dark Binding. If there's any lane that's going to do well here for email support, it looks like it'll be the temp names in the bot. Impactful, however, catching up as best he can on farm. Looks to negate that a little bit. Destin, it's on the temp name, and they throw down the Ignite. The Piercing Light catches him as well, and that Black Shield doesn't negate any true or physical damage, which is exactly what they just dealt there. Morgana falling in the bot really means that compLexity.Red have an advantage in every single lane at this point, even the jungle, if you look at the farm on NK Inc. And so they are looking rather powerful coming here into the early game. Dragon Raider has been farming up decently well, but at this point, Jezzy is getting rather powerful and can run up, break out of the slow from the Glitterlands just with the absolute attack speed from the burnout, like we're seeing there, and really start to lay down some pain on the Dragon Raider. Not able to tame this dragon. NK Inc running around in the enemy jungle, going to be found out here. Temp name 0626 going to run right into the bush, but not go for Dark Binding. Now with the dragon attempt, it looks like compLexity.Red will actually be pretty blind to this as email support wears it down. Slowly but surely, Azingi should secure this for his team, and that'll be a solid return of gold. Now only 1,000 separating these two teams. Meanwhile, NK Inc just really didn't even know about that. Instead, just opted to give Golden Glue the blue buff, which is important, but won't be nearly as influential for the team's success as a whole, unless Golden Glue can pop into those lanes, pick up some kills in the bottom or top lanes, and really begin to abuse Cassidy's heavy early mobility. We haven't seen too much from him, but that early pickup in the mid was still incredibly strong. Dragon Raider continuing to take massive damage from Jezzy, going to be forced to recall here after the Dragon's Descent forced him so low. And despite the earlier kill, temp name 0626 knows that he was just simply caught out, and he should be able to continue to fight up against Support Daddy and Impactful. Temp name 3005 is going to flash out of the box and be safe for now. However, Morgana wasn't so lucky. The flash over with the Piercing Light will claim Caitlyn's life, and the flay backwards on top of the culling will grab a second kill. Double kill for Impactful, a kill for NK Inc as well in the jungle. Onto Zingy. Dragon Raider doing his best to lay down some pain. Riven coming around from behind, but this is going to be a 2 versus 3. Dragon Raider falling so low, has to pop the wild growth on himself to get a little bit bigger. Much to your now turns around onto NK Inc, but with Golden Glue coming in from the side, no, he takes too much damage and falls. Would they do grab a return kill? NK Inc picking up 2. The second falling on the much to your. Now Dragon Raider coming back in here, has some decent damage, but not able to find it onto NK Inc. Now Jezzy, after realizing Dragon Raider is a little too fast, is going to back up, knowing that Azingi is alive and returning to the jungle. Impactful, pushing up in the bottom lane, has done a number on this turret, bringing it down below half health, even down to about a quarter. And so that will be the global gold that compLexity.Red has had in their pockets and will continue to increase as they do grab these objectives. They gave up the dragon, which will be a little annoying for them, but really in the end not that bad. Soul Shackles might be a little bit more painful as Support Daddy gets locked up there in the bush. He has some health left, but not quite enough for that build over Peacemaker. Impactful left alone here. Going to continue to look to farm with this BF sword. He's looking pretty strong right now, has 1,200 gold, and he really wants to try and wait until he can buy that Bloodthirster. But at this point, he may not have that opportunity. Temp named 0626 going to find NK Inc. there in the jungle, throw up the Black Shield to negate that damage, and Impactful really struggling here, requires a little assistance from his jungler. Golden Glue roaming down the river. Won't be able to find anything since they're playing pretty cautiously, pinging him out when he runs around. And he did not find this pink ward in the bush, which is one of the most cost-efficient places you can put a pink ward since it's so hard to find it. You don't check that bush very often, and it's really become meta to throw something down there and have it stay for up to 10 minutes. Impactful taking another Dark Binding to the face, but he should be all right for now. Now Support Daddy going in, not going to be able to latch on with the Death Sentence, but they're still finding quite a bit here. The slow comes in with the body slam, and Caitlyn will fall there to the ignite and the auto attack damage. Now Impactful looking pretty strong with his 4th kill, uses the culling just to clear out the wave, and with NK Inc. and Support Daddy here, they're looking to do some damage on the turret as Zingy is still in the back, going to try and defend. But the turret is so low, I don't know how much he can do. The Soul Shackle's not yet available for Morgana, going to mean that this turret is going down slowly but surely. Support Daddy using his very best 80 Thresh skills, but not able to grab it up. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Jezzy and Golden Glue together are able to take down Dragon Raider, and that is the power from the Kassadin roam. The bot turret going down will mean a good amount of gold. Now almost 4,000 in the pockets of compLexity.Red over their opponents. Much to Yearn returning in the mid. Will grab up a turret, but with only 250 gold in his pocket and 100 to his allies, it won't quite even up the gold. Now Impactful moving in on the Much to Yearn, laying down some damage, but they don't quite have the crowd control they need to lock him up. NK Inc. whiffs the explosive cast, gets stunned out of the turret, and has to body slam out of there. Puts himself in a dangerous spot, but he still is 2-0-3, looking pretty good despite that slight whiff. And regardless of a few missteps, a couple of kills coming over here to email support, compLexity.Red looking very strong here in the mid-game. They haven't given up too much of this lead. They are going to hand over another turret here. Their rotations have been a little strange, but just playing out their champions to near perfection, using Kassadin to roam around, picking up several kills, and Impactful really coming out as a star of the early game, just consistently grabbing up kills with the help of his support. The Piercing Light does so much damage early, and he has definitely given temp name 3005 a crash course in that lesson. Dragon Raider doing his best to return a turret up in the top, but this dragon might be a little bit too much to tame. Now Jezzy moving in, continues to lay down damage. This isn't our typical slap fight top lane, but it's more just a very slippery top laner against a very tanky one. So, I mean, eventually Dragon Raider can wear down Jezzy, but if they find the engagement, they might be able to turn it around nicely with the Flame Breath and the burnout damage. He can definitely return a bit on Dragon Raider if he has the mobility. NK Inc. helps out Golden Glue once again, picking up his 2nd blue buff of the game, and he's going to use it to come up top. Now jumping over into the bush, going to wait here until his Rift Walk is back up. And Dragon Raider has to be careful about this Rift Walker. Flashes in for the Rift Walk Force Pulse, and the Dragon is sent in. Dragon Raider's still alive, though. He Wild Growths and flashes away, but the Rift Walk is up once again. The Force Pulse and the Null Spear come across. They grab out the kill, and that is why everyone bans Kassadin. You don't see him too many games because of that strength. However, Zingy will respond really well. Take out the Dragon. Explosive Cast came across, but NK Inc. not able to grab that out. However, Caitlyn won't be quite so lucky in that fight. Now Zingy and Morgana looking pretty low themselves. Culling comes across. Morgana is able to flash out of that one. Now Zingy tries to move around onto Impactful, and Riven from behind, grabbing out a first kill with the Wind Slash. Now moving on to Support Daddy, a double kill for Riven, since Kassadin wasn't able to roam back down here, and Shyvana had to recall. That's 2 kills for 1 and a dragon. A solid return from email support, bringing them up within 2,000 gold. So definitely making an impact on that gold. If we take a look at where everyone is sitting right now, it looks like the majority here on email support going over to Much to Yearn. With 5,700 gold, he has picked up that Ravenous Hydra as well as a Brutalizer, looking very powerful coming here into the mid-game. However, his opponent with 5,000 gold in his pocket also coming up pretty big, going quickly for the Seraph's Embrace, and then potentially after for Zanya's Hourglass. Still not quite as farmed as his opponent, won't be quite there at the finished item. And then in the AD carries, I mean, we've seen how strong Impactful is, grabbing up that Bloodthirster already, while his opponent has yet to get one of her own. And so Impactful will definitely be the teamfight participant to watch if he can stay alive. Much Styern is going to have something to say about that, though. Not even buying boots because of Riffin's mobility. Golden Glue doing work in that. That's one issue with going for a no health, no MR build, is that if you get caught out, there's not a lot you can do to survive. You have lifesteal, but if you can't auto-attack anything, then that won't help you live at all. Now 2,000 gold separating the two teams, and tensions are getting pretty high. compLexity.Red grouping up, trying to push this down as well as harass their opponent, since they want this third outer turret, and it looks like they're going to have it soon. Morgana's doing his best to throw down the tainted soil. Oh, but so much damage! The explosive cast comes in, and that is a solid kill there onto Caitlyn. After everything from Impactful and NK Inc. That was a well-deserved kill, just due to the incredibly powerful nature of their champions at this point in the game. The Spirit of the Spectral Wraith already building up very strong here. Right now at 56 ability power, capping out at 80 eventually. Styern flashing in, though, and doing massive damage on the Golden Glue. However, he rip walks away, and he'll be safe for now. A good pop-up there. Catches NK Inc. and Impactful. Impactful tries to escape on the side, but Azingi grabs up the kill with the Venomous Bite. NK Inc. still trying to run away here. Golden Glue going to be caught out by Styern as well. Support Daddy now looks to turn around and be a front line. The flame misses, but Jazzy Dragons is sent over the wall and can tank up a little bit from Styern, who will turn around, try and take out this Kassadin, but they're just so mobile. Styern is going to get kited so hard, and after a disconnect from Caitlyn and Thresh, it looks like we're going to have a bit of a pause. Oh, it must be a scrim and they decided to call the game off? That must have been what happened. Ah, man. That was fun, though. That was so much fun.